record on this computer. Is it going?
Yes, it's going.
Okay. Hi. I'm still in Connecticut, so here I'm sitting with Joel. Nobody else wanted to come this week, though. Bastards.
It's a schlep.
Every bastard.
And the only reason you came is that they schlepped up the driveway is because they gave you a bagel.
Yes.
Ha!
Fair point.
I'll go 2.5 hours to have food. All right. Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club. This week we watched a relatively new movie for us. 2014's The Grand Budapest Hotel, which was one of my choices because, quite frankly, that's the movie I'm up to reviewing in my Franken list. I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with me is Joel Fenster. And we also have Mark Wotitz Gardner down there. No background for today's movie. You're getting very lazy. Annie Chung King is in her purple room. And Amy and
Her pillow.
she's recovering from her birthday celebrations.
Yes, my birthday was 2 days ago.
And Cringer. All right, so I chose this from, it's written and directed by Wes Anderson. And if you don't know Wes Anderson, why are you watching us?
Yeah, get out.
Ray Fiennes stars as a concierge of the hotel of the title. When one of his lovers mysteriously dies, he finds himself the recipient of a priceless painting. Well, kind of, sort of. He recips it.
Right.
And he's also the chief suspect in her murder. And if there's one word for Wes Anderson, it is quirky. Would you say? Good choice. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's certainly quirky, but it's funny and it's sad and it's a little bit surreal and beautifully observed. It is. I think it's his best film, and it's it's his same kind of mannered, but it's madcap and it's so fun and all of the details. Good Lord, he must be a nightmare to work for because.
Yeah, but Bill Murray is known as a nightmare to work for, and for whatever reason, the two of them seem to gel really well.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because the tone of his movies are just, it's just so brilliant. It really is. It was so fun to watch, and so I wrote, it's often delightful, occasionally silly here and there, and gruesome. That poor cat. I'm sorry, but I think a cat could jump out a 2-story window and land on its feet.
Yeah, but not when it's thrown like that. That was like, that was sudden.
But when we get that overhead view of the cat, it was like a splat out of a cartoon.
Well, maybe it had used up all 9 of its lives.
Maybe that was it. It was the last life.
Or it had buttered toast on its back and it.
And his reaction was, did you just throw my cat out the window?
That's good.
Oh my God. And so I think, because the cast, I mean, this is a crazy cast besides Ray Fiennes, F. Murray Abraham, Adrian Brody, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, Saoirse Ronan, Jason Schwartzman, who I love. I wish he could be my boyfriend. Lea Seydoux, who we just saw in No Time to Die. Tilda Swinton, Tom Wilkinson, and Owen Wilson. I mean, that is just craziness. And all of them elevate it because they bring their quirkiness with them as well. So it's a lot of fun. So the part of the concierge was written for Ray Fiennes. And I think this is one of his best performances. It's so mannered, but so precise. And you can imagine he really is a concierge. So Tilda Swinton spent 5 hours in the makeup chair to play the 84-year-old dowager. And she actually was a replacement for Angela Lansbury.
Who probably wouldn't have had to sit in the makeup chair.
Yeah, she would. Well, they might have given her still good.
No.
Because, all the plastic surgery, she looks pretty good. Filming took place in Germany from January to March 2013. It won 4 very well-deserved Oscars for costumes, hairstyling, and makeup. Original score. Joel?
Yeah.
Is it a lovely score?
It's a lovely score.
And production design. But it was nominated for 5 others. Best Picture, Director, Original Screenplay, Cinematography, and Film Editing. And it's also Wes Anderson's highest grossing movie. Again, deservedly so. But the actual Grand Budapest Hotel that it's based on is in Prague. The Grand Prague Hotel, I guess, didn't sound as much fun. And I read that the scene where Harvey Keitel smacks Zero and says, "Good luck, kid," they actually had to do 42 times to get it right, and he slapped the kid every single time.
See, that doesn't tell me that they had to do it 42 times to get it right. That tells me that the kid was a pain in the ass.
Sometimes you're after a few times you're flinching.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, hit me." And there really is a society of concierge. And when we watched this movie actually at our Monday night movie at Briar Creek, and I said that, Janine said, "I'm a member." I'm like, wow. I was like, "Can you get me
Front row ticket.
Make a few calls, yeah.
just make a few calls?" And that was so funny because it was like all these guest stars, and you think, okay, so they go in one day, they shoot their little scene, they go home. But then they were all in the scene together. I'm like, then you had to coordinate everybody's schedules, and Joel knows what a nightmare that is. Here is my one nit to pick. Madame was killed on October 19th, and then Gustav arrives 24 hours, but somehow, 24 hours later, but somehow it's still October 19th.
Oh, they had to cross the international date.
That was it. So I love this movie. This is my third time seeing it actually, and it was so much fun, and it really is the perfect Wes Anderson movie. Sometimes he kind of misses the boat, like sometimes the all those production elements kind of overwhelm a very thin story. But here it was a lot of fun, and I'm giving it 4 stars. I know, right? I think this is going to be an all-time classic. Joel, what do you think?
I agree. I don't really have much to add to that. It's funny. This is also my third time seeing the movie, and I think it's probably the most I've seen of any one of his movies. I generally like his movies. He is very quirky.
I agree.
And I tend to like that in movies. But there's something more about this one. I think it feels more. Not just natural, but at the same time, it's a bit of a throwback to the films of Ernst Lubitsch in the 40s and some of those screwball comedies, which I happen to love. The one movie that I kept thinking of when I was watching this is more of another modern version of a screwball comedy would be The Hudsucker Proxy from the Coen brothers,
right?
Which is probably not their best film, but it's a movie I love. Here, this is easily, as you said, Wes Anderson's best film.
He said it was based on the short stories of somebody, but
Stefan Zweig. He was either Hungarian or Austrian author in the 20s and 30s.
And who would even find that book of short stories to read?
No, I haven't, but I'm interested, having gone back and researched a little bit.
Right. I mean, once it's come to your attention, then maybe. But obviously, he found it. He read it. He's like, "Oh, I can make a movie out of this."
Yeah, so, and I don't think it's based on any one or two specific stories of his. I think it's just kind of a thematic cousin in that sense.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. It's entertaining and just fun. I was gonna give it 3.75 stars, but you know what? It is a 4-star film.
Oh, Joel, I convinced you?
You did.
See what happens when you come over for a bagel? You get an extra half star. Yeah, and I agree about the Wes Anderson thing. It's like whenever he has a new movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta see that because I know I like his quirky style. And sometimes.
Oh, and just as an aside, so you don't have to deal with it later, all of Wes Anderson's movies up until The Grand Budapest Hotel, so his last 2 movies, Isle of Dogs and The French Dispatch, are the only movies that are not part of the Criterion Collection. Everything else is. So.
You say that like it's some kind of badge of honor.
It should be a badge of honor.
But I have to remind you that Armageddon is also in that set.
Yeah,
okay. And
I was just looking while you were talking. What?
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, and I had seen it before. And I was just looking while you were talking at all of his movies, and this is like the 7th and last of the movies. I think I saw Isle of Dogs though. That came out after this, so I've seen like 7 of his movies, and this definitely is my favorite one. I loved it then. I loved it Thursday night. I loved when they did the scene where they were chasing each other on the skis and the sled, and it was going in ridiculous, super fast motion. It looked so fake. I loved it. Really, really liked this movie. It's incredible. Like you said, the details. And I started reading the trivia this morning, but there's so much to read. So I read like 2 things. And speaking of details, and you might have read this, the very first trivia they listed was Ray Fiennes getting the notebook. And you, like you said, he's so detail oriented. Ray Fiennes was like, my character would have lines on his notebook. And when they started telling that story, how he insisted on having lines, it was coming across that Ray Fiennes was acting like a diva on the set. Whereas I think what he said was great, but of course, you know how things get twisted around. So they stopped telling that story. So I thought that was interesting. But I love the movie. I'm going to go 3 3/4.
I must have a notebook with lines.
Yeah.
It's all
Or I shan't do the movie.
shan't.
Do the movie.
And I love that when when you first see Edward Norton, you realize he's got a completely American accent.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I'm gonna talk about that. Yeah,
They're all over the place, but I think that's intentional.
Right, yeah, because
I know.
international.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And finally, I just want to thank Nan for my very heavy ceramic mug. That's all.
Can't
my
take
birthday.
that one on the train to New York.
No, it's very heavy.
You're assuming she's watching.
She loves us. Of course, she's watching.
He's one of our 3 fans.
Oh, wow, okay.
Even my boy's watching.
Who's the other fan?
Pliskin.
Janice.
Doesn't watch.
He doesn't watch.
Janice.
Yeah, Janice.
Obviously
Janice,
doesn't
yeah.
watch it. Janice is the only one. Maybe Derace watches it. Derachi? What's her name?
Dorace.
Derace.
She doesn't watch.
Natasha used to watch all the time.
Yeah,
Now she's
Anthony's never
tired of
seen
us.
a one.
Natasha she's like, is it posted yet? Now she's like, I don't give a shit.
Screw you guys.
I'm going home.
We've come,
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, going home.
Go home.
become too mundane.
To Monday.
Monday,
Yeah.
yes. Annie, did you enjoy it? Had you seen it before?
No, I've never seen it, and I have to tell you that I've never seen any of Wes Anderson's films. I looked it up and never seen any of it.
That's okay, Annie.
Had you heard of any of
I've heard of them, sure,
them?
but I've never gone to seen any, so it was fun. It was definitely a fun movie. I thought the cast was great. I love the way that it kind of like played backwards, and telling the story, and that was fun. The accents were hysterical. I was like, what is he, from the Bronx or something? It was funny. There were parts I thought, I was like, okay, I've had enough of the scene. Let's move it along a little. So yeah, I felt like it could have been, like all movies, 15 minutes shorter maybe.
And SpongeBob.
Yeah, but
That's a 4-star movie.
it was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it. I don't know if I'm going to go and now seek out the other Wes Anderson movies unless you make me see them. So you guys
Annie, I feel like you started up here with the Wes Anderson movies, so if you watch the other ones, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
At
you
least,
did
at
start
least
with that.
according to me. Yeah,
Note to self: put another Wes Anderson movie on next year.
Yeah.
I'll be busy that day.
I like Steve Zissou, I think.
You like
The Life Aquatic, yeah.
No,
It-
come on.
I like the way it
Great.
moved.
The Royal Tenenbaums is great.
Rushmore's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Rushmore, I loved Rushmore.
Rushmore was good.
Okay. All right, so you're going with 3 what?
3.25 stars.
All right, I feel like we're gonna be going downhill here. Mark?
I'll just get back to what the 2 guys were saying earlier. If I want to watch a screwball, and
Before or after you got debooped?
He watched it after.
we watched it last night.
Wait. Did you actually watch the Grand Budapest Hotel, or did you finish watching the best Marigold?
Yeah, we definitely. It was both of us said it in our minds. We were like, we both were talking. Oh, that's the one with Judi Dench and Maggie Smith and Dev Patel. We're like, yeah. And then I reread it, what we were watching, and I said, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, we both have seen it before, but had no memory of it. So anyway, I was awake for it. We both watched it and we both enjoyed it, to be honest. All I was going to say, though, to be honest, to what you guys were saying before, if I want to see a screwball ensemble comedy, I'll watch Clue. To me, that's a lot more fun. Yeah, I know Frank was going to not agree, but to me, much more fun.
Did I tell you the Clue story? Joel kept insisting, "Oh, this will be a fun thing to do at the carriage house," and he was like, "Look, I'll set up a screening. You'll come to the house. We'll all watch the movie." And the other people he invited were all fans of the movie, so they're all giggly. I laughed exactly once with the flames. That was the one time I laughed, and Joel was like, "See?" And then we did it.
Nice. Well, with this movie, I did remember it being, I use the same word as you, Frank. I remember it being quirky and bizarre, but I didn't remember it being good or this funny. So I did definitely enjoy it. I remember it being more weird than funny, and I found it definitely, we were cracking up the whole time. I'm not really a fan of Wes Anderson. I hated the Royal Tenenbaums, but I did like Rushmore, I think. I don't think I ever watched, I feel like Life Aquatic, I think I started watching and I just couldn't get through it. So I really don't like him that much. Maybe I'll try Isle of Dogs. I heard a lot of good things about that, but no? Okay, then I'll stick with this one. I love the ensemble cast, and I love that Wes seems to use the same actors. Looking through all the other movies, my God, you see like the same 5 people in all the movies or different variations of them.
On his Wikipedia page, they have a little chart of all the people he's worked with and which movies they were in.
That's great. I'm sure Bill Murray's number 1.
Right?
Gotta be. And actually, it looked like Steve Schwartzman, Jason Schwartzman too, was big in there. Yeah.
And I think did he go to school with Owen Wilson.
Yeah, he went to school with Owen Wilson because
okay. And
brothers are in his first film, Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket, yeah.
Yep.
That Bottle Rocket is a little more conventional.
Yeah, but it's his first movie, and it was based on a short he did in college. So.
Isn't Bottle Rocket with Macaulay Culkin?
No.
Burt Lancaster?
I think so.
What?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
No, it's the Wilson brothers.
Yeah. Who they,
have
could
it right
look
here,
like
I can look.
Macaulay Culkin if you're, got one eye closed and
Well,
squinting.
he has a brother too.
I know, but they don't really look.
Oh, I don't know what the hell I'm thinking. You're right. It's the Wilson brothers. I'm thinking of something with Macaulay. Now I gotta look it up.
no, you're thinking of the he was like tiny in the movie. Joel, help me out.
Yeah.
Not the Rocketeer. Not the Rocketeer.
No.
I'm looking.
Something he was in before Uncle Buck.
Before Uncle Buck.
Rocket Gibraltar.
Yes, I said the Rocketeer. Yeah, the Rocket Gibraltar. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Rocket Gibraltar.
Anyway, well, I was going to mention too, Ed Norton and Harvey Keitel. I mean, come on, try to do an accent, but I get it. Having said that, though, Harvey Keitel was 75 years old in this movie, shirtless and still somewhat muscular. You got to give him a little respect for that. That was impressive.
I think that's why he took his shirt off.
Yeah, why not? I counted 9 MCU actors. That's all we were doing the whole time. Like, oh my God, another one. So for me, 3.25.
Before or after this?
Both.
Doesn't everyone end up in the MCU at some point in their life?
Exactly.
They're either all in the MCU or they've been on Doctor Who or Harry Potter if they're British.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone's British in the MCU too.
Quite frankly, if they threw MCU money at me, I'd be like, sure. Come on, I'll go down. I don't care who I am.
And yet one of them
Meryl
in this
Streep will be in
and
that.
yet one of them in this movie decided, I've had enough. I can move on.
Well, we all know Ed Norton is a freak.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I know they moved on from him.
He didn't move on from them.
I'm giving it 3.25 stars. Danielle gave it 3.5 and said that this was definitely something that it reminded of her of the Carriage House, and that's why she loved it so much.
We should do that on the Carriage House stage.
Yeah, that'll fit on the stage.
Lots of things fit on that
I
stage.
had
I would like to discuss that when we're done here. Okay.
Wait, Annie wants to say something.
Yes, I didn't understand, like at the beginning with the statue and all the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the girl went and hung up the key.
Danielle looked that up, and that was a bust of the original Austrian writer.
Right, and the
Yeah.
key,
Oh, of the short story.
Short stories.
Yeah,
right,
but the bust was in the movie. The bust is of
Great finds.
yeah, of Zero, and the keys are there because he was the concierge.
right. Concierge
So
keys.
yeah, they were concierge keys.
Okay, and then I just want to say that I love the word funicular.
It's a great word for tram.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And the one scene that I love was with the two ski lifts
Yeah.
crossing, and they stop, and that I thought that was so cool. That was-
Yeah.
And it's just, he's so clever. It's like,
One of the things I enjoyed about the film, and it's a silly thing, but it's a technical issue more than anything else, is the fact that the film takes place in 3 different time periods,
Right.
essentially, but each time period has its own aspect ratio.
right,
So
that
like
would have been appropriate for the time.
exactly,
Right.
exactly, which I love
Yeah,
that
you're
change in
right.
aspect ratio.
So it would
You're
help
right.
you know which time zone you were in.
It's neat.
I didn't realize that, except at one point when I hit play again, there was like the screen was square, and I was like, what the hell happened? Why is my screen square? And now I realize why.
It was like that for most of the movie because most of the movie
Yeah.
was placed in the 30s.
Yeah. And
Suddenly I noticed it.
so many really beautiful touches, like putting all the chisel and everything in the pastries. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I moved it from 3.5 to 3 3/4. That extra quarter is just from the brilliance that you could think of all these
But you
brilliant
still have the
things.
fact
And
that
clever.
when the guard was, going through all the packages and he's just going with the knife, chop, 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 chop,
Yeah.
and he gets to that
and
and
it's
he
so
opens,
beautiful.
and it's not
It's
just
too
too beautiful.
beautiful.
You can obviously tell
Yeah.
what it was, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever.
It's
you
just
know?
too
And the whole escape scene when they're tiptoeing over the guards, it was so ridiculous over the top, but we were cracking up at that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then all them chiseling away at the bars at the same
Right.
time. And
Oh,
pointing-
yeah.
Come on.
And then stopping.
And then stop it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So many things made me laugh. It was really brilliant.
So many things just made me go, wow, that was clever.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And this was one thing that I thought was so funny was when they go to the museum and the little sign is there and it says, the museum is closing in 13 minutes. It wasn't a digital sign. So that guard had to get out every minute.
Yes.
Go change it to 12, go sit back down.
And you never see it, which is fantastic.
Go change
You just
it.
notice it the next time, you're like, the time just changed.
Go
Yeah.
change it to
Good.
11, go sit back down. Oh my God, that cracked me up so hard.
And Willem Dafoe, I know he wasn't big, but he was great in it too. I mean, everyone was.
Yeah. All right, so I'm glad you enjoyed the movie I chose. And next week, we'll be watching that July 4th classic, Independence Day.
Yeah. Another more of Jeff Goldblum.
And more Jeff Goldblum.
It is available on HBO Max, Prime, Peacock, Fubo, and Tubi. So
It's not available on all of those streaming
it's on all
services.
of those services.
Wow.
And we have it on VHS.
Really?
You're gonna crank up the VHS to watch it.
No, we'll put it on HBO.
I just have such great memories of Flushing Meadow Park and the 2 observatories becoming ships. Oh my God. Especially when you watch that movie in Queens.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. You're Men in Black.
Yeah, that's Men in Black.
You're talking
Oh, right.
wrong movie, Amy.
I just have such a great memory of the ship being gigantic and beautiful and blowing up the White House.
Oh, well, not.
That's
That's
Mars.
the right one.
No,
No, that's this one.
I know.
Was it the movie where they blow up the White House? Spoiler alert. All right, and that's it. So I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie. Joel, turn this thing on.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
also with you.
Where am I? Oh, stop.
We didn't see